Welcome to myGSPN Live. You're here with your host, Robert Brown.
And Jose Rodriguez.
We've got a great show to end our week, but before we start, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Garden Grocer, for allowing us to be on the air. If you're in the Disney resort area, go to www.gardengrocer.com. Place an order for your food, drinks, save time, money, energy, spend more time, quality time with the family. Just go to www.gardengrocer.com. Place your order. We'll deliver everything to your resort at the time of your arrival. Let's jump into Florida lacrosse. We haven't talked too much about it,
No, we haven't.
but it's getting down to the end. We're getting to the end of playoffs, so we want to give them their just dues before it's too late. We'll start off with the regional quarterfinals. Winter Park beat. This is men's lacrosse. Winter Park beat Lake Highland Prep 17-5.
Yep.
We moved down, and the number 6 ranked West Orange got upset by Bishop Moore. Bishop Moore currently seems to be the team
Nobody's betting on, but
they seem to be the team to win everything. I think they could end up winning it all. As we go on the regional semifinals, it was Bishop Moore versus Winter Park, and Winter Park was ranked number 3. Bishop Moore still took them down 16-3.
Bishop Moore played again in the regional finals and won.
Beat this team again. I have them ranked number 5 in the whole entire state.
Yeah, Jess it's a really good team. They're again the number 5 seed.
Number 2 in the Central Florida area for our rankings.
So that's another upset. They beat them by 3 points. It was 8-5 score, and again, Bishop Moore is that one team that seems to be beating everybody and everything. In baseball, softball, including now lacrosse, which is a not so talked sport, but it is also a very relevant sport when it comes to high school sports. And
now for the state semifinals, Bishop Moore, who personally, they're number 1 in the Central Florida area, number 3 overall in the state. They're doing fantastic, but they take on Point Verde today at 5 p.m. Game will be in Boca Raton High School, so if you can catch that game, please go see it. The other semifinal game will be Jupiter, who's number 2 in the state, versus number 1 in the state, St. Andrews. That game will be at Boca Raton at 7 p.m. So the winner of those 2 games, hopefully, is Bishop Moore and somebody. Will play tomorrow, May 12th at 8 p.m. at Boca Raton High School for the state championship.
And that's crazy because Bishop Moore, it's such a great school, but not only that, if you see their best players, they're not even seniors yet.
Yeah, they're young, so they could be there next year and the year after.
So they got a long ways to go, and that winning culture that they're developing right now at an early stage, hopefully is going to continue to go on for their next years until they graduate.
Definitely, and they're led by junior Jake Kiefer with 68 goals. He only played 17 games so far this year, while the rest of the teams played 20-something. And sophomore Brooke Rask with 31 assists. So they're, this is fantastic team.
It's like Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, they're playing great. So we move on to women's lacrosse, and this might be a little more exciting than the men's lacrosse. We want to start off with the regional quarterfinals. Haggerty beat Lake Brantley 12-4. Plant beat Steinbrenner 18-3, and Dr. Phillips beat Vieira 21-10.
Wow.
Yeah,
what an upset.
They are putting up major points, and all the local area teams that we tried to cover throughout the year are the ones that ended up winning.
Wow, that's so great.
And then number 3, the last game in the regional finals, number 3 Lake Highland Prep, 15 against number 7 West Orange's 3. They'll move on, and Lake Highland Prep, just like Bishop Moore, seems to be the team that's running away with this lacrosse state tournament.
Yeah, and lacrosse is it's a really, I don't want to say weird, but it is really, it's unique. It's different. It's a different sport. It has different rules,
different skill set. You see a different type of player out there.
You got to be a certain type of athlete to be able to play lacrosse.
Tough as nails, just like rugby players, just like baseball players,
like football players, exactly. And instead of catching the ball, you got to instead of catching it with your hands,
you got to get the stick.
You got to get the stick, all that nice stuff, throw it, accuracy. So it's like a lot of sports mixed in together. So when we're talking about these schools that are ranked top 5 in the state or in the district or even in the Central Florida area, these are kids that can play literally any sport they wanted to if they just decided to
put in the work.
Exactly.
Right.
These are straight up athletes. So
we move on to the regional semifinals. We've got Haggerty 9 versus Creekside 3. Plant beat Newsom 17-7, so that was a pretty good route. And then Lake Highland moving on again with an 11-5 victory over Dr. Phillips, which was the biggest game of this regional semifinals, and it lived up to the hype. 11-5, they move on and continue their great play that they've had of late. And as we move on to the regional finals, Hagerty 13, Oak Hall 7. Oak Hall's from the Gainesville area for those that don't know. And then Lake Highland Prep 14 versus Plant 7. So they got to rout them. And again, we continue to move on. And we've got our number 1 team in the Central Florida area facing off against our number 3 team, Lake Highland versus Hagerty, in the state semis. Again, this was the biggest game of the state semis.
I agree. Hagerty being kind of like a Bishop Moore.
Yep.
A number 1 team topping everyone in every sport. So it's not really fair, or fair is not even the appropriate word to use there. I feel bad for the other teams for not putting in the work Hagerty's been putting in.
Yeah, but Lake Highland came and they got that upset, and
that's true.
They continue to move on. So our state, or we want to talk about the other state semifinals. It's not a local area team, but American Heritage is the number 1 ranked team in the entire state for lacrosse, and they beat Vero Beach 11-5. So our championship game is set. It will be Lake Highland Prep versus American Heritage. It's going to be a fantastic.
Yeah, top 3 teams.
Yeah, fantastic. The game is actually today, May 11th. It'll be at 9 p.m. at Boca Raton High School, right with the men's Final Four and championship. So if you're down in the area and can catch it, please go ahead, because these 2 teams have some excellent talent.
Yeah, best teams. One of the 3 best teams out of the 3 best teams in Florida, I should say. The 2.
Yeah,
the top 3 are playing right now, so make sure to watch.
Lake Highland is led by 2 juniors, Ansley Thurston, who has 62 goals, and Maria Forrest, who has 24 assists.
That's really good.
The real story, in my opinion, again, I'm not a huge lacrosse fan. I don't know everything about it, but there is a sophomore for American Heritage who is already a 2-time high school All-American in lacrosse. Already was committed as an 8th grader to go play at the University of Syracuse.
Jesus Christ.
Caitlin Wurzberg, number 1 women's lacrosse player in the country. Again, I mentioned she committed to Syracuse as an 8th grader. Syracuse is a school that they're big in basketball. They're a good academic school.
And in lacrosse.
Lacrosse, they've been very good in lacrosse since Jim Brown went to Syracuse way back forever ago. So this is a program within this school that is a nationally ranked, national championship type caliber.
Not only that, imagine you as a freshman, sophomore. Matter of fact, you as an 8th grader.
8th grader.
Signed, let's say, or committed to Duke, a great basketball, or Kentucky.
That's exactly what
a
this
great
is like.
basketball program, university, and this is exactly what it is. It's crazy.
She has 101 goals on the year so far and 106 assists, which leads the state of Florida in both categories for women. So.
That's insane. I mean, those are video game numbers.
She's an high school All-American as a 8th grader. As a 9th grader, she'll probably get her 3rd straight this year. She's playing absolutely fantastic. I wish the best for her. I really wish that they could win the state championship, but only 1 team gets to win. I've got my money going for Lake Highland Prep, so
I want American Heritage to win just because
he likes to go against me.
Exactly that. Exactly that. Going against you, but not only that. Again, it is the number 1 team in the state. Mm-hmm. Lake Highland is only the 3rd. Again, there could be an upset, but we never know. Again, that is sports.
Yeah.
And
that's why
I think Wurzberger is gonna kill everybody.
Yeah.
She literally, but in the field.
Yeah, she definitely will. Now we want to take our look around the country. We did Alabama yesterday, so let's stay in the A's and let's jump into Arizona. We'll talk about baseball because everybody loves baseball, and the season is coming to an end. We have our top 5 Arizona high school baseball rankings. We'll start off with number 1 Mountain View, sitting at 24-7. These are some absolutely fantastic teams.
Yeah, they're great. Now, Mountain View, in my perspective, it is kind of like when we were talking about yesterday. The number 2 seed or the number 2 spot team has a better record than the number 1 team, but just because of that winning culture that they've had over the years and going to state championships, going to regionals, etc.
Who they play to, they're in the top conference, top
exactly.
class.
All the accolades that they've had over the past years, that's what gets them in the number 1 spot. But Going down into our list, into number 2, Nogales is 29-5, as I was mentioning. And then going number 3, Corona del Sol, or it's in Tempe, Arizona, it's also 22-5.
Yep.
Now, O'Connor, which is a great school for baseball, this team, has been battling out all year. They also play in a very tough conference against Mountain View.
Yep.
And in number 5 is also Mesquite. Now, again, it's in the 5th spot, but it also has a better record than the number 3 and 4.
And that's that same situation where conference and who you've played, the eye test style of play.
Exactly.
I'm confident with these rankings because some of these teams in here are still playing in the state tournament and hopefully can get on and win a state championship.
And in Arizona, you got to think about it. Arizona's a little bit faster than Florida.
Yep.
Arizona's about, 1/4 the size of Florida?
Yeah, and they're almost done. We'll jump into the 6A in the Arizona tournament. We've got that number 1 Mountain View versus number 8 Mountain Ridge. They'll play today at 6:30. We've got a correspondent out there who will probably, we think he'll be at the game, so we'll be able to get you some highlights or some articles. If you go to myGSPN.com, go to our news feed, you'll be able to read up on some of these teams from the Arizona area. And actually, one of the teams, Verado, is riding a 19-game winning streak now.
Yeah.
Our correspondent was actually able to go to their last game where actually they won this 19th. So that article is online on my GSPN news feed, so go check that out. Staying with that in the 5A, Verado will take on Liberty. They're number 6. Liberty is number 10. Again, they'll play Tuesday, May 15th at 4 p.m.
And Verado came out of nowhere, to tell you that.
Man, they're about to go for 20 in a row, then 21. Hopefully they keep this run up and get to a championship.
I agree. Verado came out of nowhere, like I was saying. They started the season kind of rough. They were, just a couple of games above 500, and then out of nowhere everything clicked. And they just went on a run and started winning.
Yeah, they haven't stopped.
They kind of look like the Oakland A's back when the Moneyball game came about. So, it's a great story, and hopefully, like you said, they keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. We go to 4A. Catalina Foothills is awaiting an opponent for the championship game, but that game will be Monday, May the 14th at 7 p.m. Most of these games are at the Tempe Stadium. But if you can't get to that, not all the games are there. Hopefully you can tune in. Again, we'll have highlights up and have articles up about the games, and we'll give you the champions. We move to 3A, Sabino versus Empire, and then this is a Final Four game. So Sabino is the number 13 team. I have them advancing to that championship game, which will be Monday the 14th at Hohokam Stadium. So if you can catch that, please get out to that game.
2A, I think 2A is where it's at.
Yeah, 2A could be where it's at. You want to take this? You seem kind of excited for it.
2A is going to be Gilbert Christian against San Tan Foothills. Now, Enjoy Christian against Phoenix Christian. Phoenix Christian, me playing baseball here in Florida, Phoenix Christian always has a great baseball program out there in Arizona. They haven't been as great ever since I graduated high school, but when I was in high school, I actually had a friend that played in that high school and transferred to my school. So it was pretty cool, and with that being said, he was, the guy was straight up good. He left Wekiva after 1 year and then decided to go, back to. He's good, and he was good, and that school was good. So I'm assuming that they're good now.
Yeah,
they're good now, and they if they're still here
in the Final Four, going
that
on
means
to win a
that
state
they're going to be
championship.
there again, and I'm taking them as a winner for 2A.
Definitely. Now 1A Final Four will be Baghdad versus Williams and Superior versus Ray. Both those games are at 6:30 today, and the championship game for that will be May 14th at 4 p.m. Again at the Tempe Stadium. So please get out to that. Moving on from baseball, talking about little baseball. We want to go to just a little bit of recruiting, kind of touch on what we're here for. Give the kids some shine, kind of give them the opportunity to market themselves. So we want to stick to the SEC because being in Florida, this is SEC country.
This is our conference,
So we got the Florida Gators, class of 2018. These are basketball rankings. Andrew Nimhart went to Montverde as a 6'4" point guard from Canada, committed to play and signed to play for the Florida Gators. Keontae Johnson, a 6'4" small forward from Virginia, went to the powerhouse that is Oak Hill.
It's not fair.
Yeah. He's the number 68 player in the country, and he'll be joining Andrew Nimhart. Noah Locke, a 6'2" shooting guard from Maryland, will also be joining them. He's the number 71 ranked player in the country. So Florida has had a great class for 2018. Nobody yet in 2019 or 2020. So, we expect big things from them.
I think this is the best class.
Not as big as
the class we're going to talk about now.
Yeah. I think they're the number 2 ranked class in the country right now. They might be number 3.
Yeah.
Duke's number 1. That's actually not fair. But in class of 2008, they've got the number 7, number 14, number 23, and the number 28 player in the country. Keldon Johnson, a 6'6" small forward from Virginia, also attended Oak Hill, was a McDonald's All-American. That's the number 7 player in the country. Fantastic athlete, jumps out the gym, can shoot. Great players. Gonna have a great career, probably a 1-year career at Kentucky. We have E.J. Montgomery, a 6'10", 215-pound power forward. Pure athlete, explosive, fast, can catch, handles himself at the rim very well, can handle himself in the air. A superior athlete who, again, at Kentucky, that's what Calipari wants.
And I agree.
Yeah, and he's a McDonald's All-American as well, so that's 2 for him. And then
in this class, the Kentucky class actually gonna. I'm not a big fan of number 1 seeds, number 1 spots. Like you saw what happened to the Raptors and the Cavs.
They got swept.
Exactly. So it's a lot of pressure when it comes to number 1 seeds and number 1 spots. So with Duke having the number 1 spot and the number 1 class coming up for 2018, I feel like these kids, they're good, but the pressure is gonna be off the roof for them to succeed and perform.
It'll be Calipari having to keep them together. And with this 3rd McDonald's All-American, Emmanuel Quickly, a 6'3" point guard. They've got number 7, number 14, number 23 in the country. All 3 of them going to the biggest All-American game that there is to play in. And then they add Tyler Hero, a 6'5" shooting guard who is exactly that, a shooter. He, from anywhere on the court, he can come off screens, he can catch and shoot, he can dribble and shoot. A fabulous shooter. But this is really what sets Kentucky to that next level.
Yeah.
They've already got 3 players in the class of 2019 ready to go, where the other schools we talk about, they've only got their class of 2018 guys.
Yeah, that's true, and that's the advantage that Kentucky has.
Yeah.
A lot of high schools, a lot of colleges and universities don't really do that because they like to focus on what they have presented at first on the table.
And it's hard too. They've got number 14 player Tyrese Maxey, a point guard. Number 16 player DJ Jeffries, a small forward, and number 17 player Ashton Haggins, a 6'2" point guard. So.
There's a lot of development going on there.
Yeah,
so
from all over to Texas, Missouri, Georgia.
And they got 2 point guards, so it's going to be interesting, on who's going to get the playing time when it comes to time to go to Kentucky, including, the freshmen, the seniors, the juniors that are already attending the squad.
And Kentucky, if you're a sophomore and you were supposed to be a one-and-done guy, he's got somebody coming in. You might have to transfer, or you might just have to sit.
That's true.
You got somebody better. We'll stay in the SEC, of course, and go to the LSU Tigers. They've got a fantastic class as well. The biggest name here is Emmett Williams. For us, he's a Florida guy, 6'6" power forward, a little undersized, but a great athlete from a great program. So he'll go to LSU and have a fantastic career, hopefully. Also, there's Darius Days, a 6'7" power forward from
little Tampa, IMG Academy.
The powerhouse that is IMG, just like the Oak Hills, just like the Montverts. He's grown up in a great program, so he knows, he's been coached by a college caliber coach. He'll be a step ahead of a lot of the freshmen coming in.
And that's a point I wanted to, touch base on, because you got to think about it. These kids going to the Oak Hills, the Mater Deis out there in California, or even the Hargraves in Virginia, or IMGs and Montverts, etc. that are here in academies are just powerhouses when it comes to sports.
Yes.
They're actually blessed that they can, have that connection with coaches at such high level, and, being able to be so far ahead of other young players that are trying to get to the next level. So,
it helps.
It helps a lot.
It does. Last team we'll talk about is the Vanderbilt Commodores. They've got 2 players, both of them in the top 25 of our ESPN rankings. Number 16, Darius Garland, a 6'2" point guard from Tennessee, number 1 point guard in the country, actually. Another McDonald's All-American. He'll be going to Vanderbilt. And then the number 18 player, Simizola Shitu. I think I actually got that right. 6'9" power forward from Canada. He's played on the Canadian national team, and I actually had a friend of mine who played with him that went to UAB. This kid is a beast. Now, he's clearly not the best player on that Canadian national team with players like R.J. Barrett, being the guy that kind of runs that team. But, without him, they don't beat the American under-19 national team in the FIBA tournament they had last year. And that's the first Canadian team to ever beat America in basketball. So for them to do that, for him to be part of that team, speaks volumes of his character and his talent. So congratulations to him and that entire Canadian team. But now we've got
your favorite segment?
It might be mine, but it's definitely his favorite segment. Actually, the first sport we'll talk about real fast is one of his favorite sports, soccer. We've got a huge matchup coming on Saturday that I'm definitely going to be going to. Orlando City is going for their 7th win in a row, and it also
in franchise history.
They've already set that with 6.
They set the record with 6.
And this could possibly put them at the number 1 spot in the Eastern Conference right now in the MLS.
So. They're that team that they play really well in the first half, and then when it comes to the second half to go to the playoffs, they just crumble
Which is funny because they get behind almost every game in the first half, and then
they come back.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
They just need to do that at the end of this season. If they stay strong, they're number 3 right now. So
that's the Dwyer effect.
They're at 6 wins, 2 losses, and a draw, and they'll play Atlanta United tomorrow. Game is. I want to say the game is 6:30 and maybe 7. We'll get that information to you. But they'll play Atlanta United, who is number 1 in the East, at 7 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. So
we'll get it.
Yeah, this game, if we get this win, we'll have the tiebreaker on them. We'll move up and be the number 1 seed in the East, and hopefully we can hold on to that. We're led by Dom Dwyer, who has 6 goals this year, 19 shots, 11 of them on goal. He's having an absolutely fantastic career coming back to Orlando City. He started his career here, so to see him here and for him to be the guy that's kind of leading this charge is a huge thing for our city.
Not only that, but you also got to talk about the other 2 guys posting up.
Yeah.
Joshimar Yotun having 5 assists and 3 goals as well, posting up. He's really great player, and he's going to be able to represent his country, Peru, in the World Cup coming up. So, being an Orlando City fan, he's one of the guys that you should have your spotlight on because he's going to shine for Orlando City on Saturday and also for his team when the World Cup arrives. And also, one of my favorite players from Orlando City, Joe Bendick, doing his thing behind the net. This guy has 28 saves already. And even if he doesn't play in the European leagues and he's playing here in the MLS, I feel like he can compete
definitely.
Without a doubt at any league that he goes and plays at, for sure.
Definitely. Now we go to basketball to wrap things up. Not American basketball. Nothing that people probably are going to turn on the TV and be able to see.
I feel like it's more exciting.
For me, I think so. These aren't name brand guys. You don't go pick up their shoes every day, but the quality of basketball is just as high. These are actually Real Madrid beat Oklahoma City Thunder last year in a preseason game over in Madrid. So these teams can compete with NBA teams. Also, their budgets compete with NBA teams. You see what their soccer budgets are.
Yeah. Real Madrid especially. They just have tons of money.
They have money to blow. We want to start off. CSK Moscow got the number 1 seed with 24-6 this year. They're led by Nando De Colon, who had averaged 17 points and 4 assists. He's won the EuroLeague MVP 2 seasons ago. His teammate is now playing for the LA Clippers. He's their point guard now. He had some injuries this year, so he didn't have a great year, but he was a very, very big piece of this CSKA Moscow team for years.
Yeah, he's pretty much a LeBron.
Yeah, he was. And now they beat Chemik Moscow, which is their rival up there. They beat them 3-1 in the playoffs, so they're moving on to the Final Four. All Final Four games will be May 18th, just so you know. Then we have Real Madrid. Everybody knows about their soccer team, but their basketball
is just as good.
Yeah, their basketball club is just as good. They win the La Liga every year almost, and they'll compete for a Final Four and a championship in EuroLeague. They're led by Luka Doncic, the 19-year-old wonder kid who won the best young talent in EuroLeague this year for the 2nd year in a row. He averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for the year. They beat Panathinaikos from Greece 3-1 in the playoffs to advance. Last year's champions, Fenerbahce, they lost some key pieces. The MVP of last year's season, also their young star went off to play for Sacramento.
I don't think it affected them though.
It didn't. They're at 21-9. They were the number 2 seed. Jan Veasley averaged 13 points a game to lead them, and they defeated Baskonia 3-1. Interesting story about Baskonia. Shane Larkin, that plays for Boston right now, played for Baskonia last year in the EuroLeague and helped them get to the playoffs again.
And helped Boston get into the playoffs too.
Definitely. The final team right now is Zalgiris. They were 18-12, so not a great record, but good enough to get to the playoffs.
If it's good, hey, as long as it's playoff certified, you're good.
Definitely. Kevin Pangos averaged 13 points a game and 6 assists for them. He's actually an American. Had a great career over here in college. Was a good name, a big name in college here, and has gone over there and had an absolutely fantastic career. They beat Olympiakos, which is another team from Greece, from Athens, Greece, 3-1. Now our final four is set. We'll have CSKA Moscow versus Real Madrid, and then we'll have Fenerbahce from Istanbul versus Zalgiris.
Oh, Real Madrid's taking it all.
I think so. I'm a huge fan of the Luka Doncic kid. I think he should be the number one pick. I've told you that a few times.
Oh yeah.
CSKA Moscow is good.
But
they're good. They have the biggest budget every year in EuroLeague, partially because you got to go live in Moscow, so we'll pay you a bunch of money so you're not freezing. But
that's true. Europe
they win. They win, and they are good.
Nah, but Real Madrid, I think, is going to take it. Not only that, you still have the 19-year-old wonder kid, as they call him. And I don't think he's anytime coming or transitioning from the La Liga basketball into the NBA anytime soon. And if he does, then congrats to him. He might make less money here than what he's making over there in Europe.
He could possibly, definitely. But we thank you for tuning in. Any student athlete that would like to be featured on the show, send us in videos at myGSPN.com, and we'll have them posted for you.
Again, thanks you for our sponsor, Garden Grocer. If you're in the Orlando area for vacation, just go to www.gardengrocer.com to shop for groceries, snacks, beverages, and it will be delivered at your resort at your arrival. So remember to save money, time, and eat whatever you want on vacation.
And we encourage all student athletes to go to www.myGSPN.com, create a player profile, and follow us on all our social media so we can get interacting with you guys. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching.